Welcome back, my mahogany munchkin. The Democrats in Congress are finally making some progress on the Epstein files and the investigations that surround the elites that might be connected to all of this. So we may see some arrests. I don't know. Like, we've seen plenty of arrests in other countries, none in the United States. We've seen some resignations, but we still have people in power who have raped, killed, and eaten children, so we better see some progress quick. But now there's actually some new rumblings that a secret recording from Mar-a-Lago has been found that nobody knew existed, and we're going to take a look at some of these stunning developments as we move into a new stage of this investigation. So let's get that juicy stuff, shall we? Let's dive right in. Oh, and by the way, the eye patch looks like it's on the wrong eye because the video is flipped. That's it. All right, let's jump into the clip.
New testimony coming out of this House Epstein probe. The recent Epstein files showed the DOJ had leads on these people in Epstein's orbit.
Look at all those redactions that are illegal because those people are the ones who are supposed to be exposed. That's the whole point.
And others redacted, as you see. This was a big, important document that we only got from the new files. And the DOJ only ultimately prosecuted one, Maxwell. We only know that because Congress overruled Trump and forced out those files. Now,
remember, Trump is all about, guys, the Epstein files are no big deal anymore. It's all old news. It's fake news. It's the Democrats. It's a hoax. Epstein is, I never knew him, blah, blah, blah. Right, sure. Sure, buddy.
some of the same members of Congress say they are doing basically some of the investigative work that the DOJ failed to do. And that would stretch
illegally. It's a crime. They should be arrested. Why isn't anyone being arrested? Because of this crime that they're literally protecting pedophile, rapist, murderers. Hello?
back from the recent Trump administration and the Biden administration, because these leads, if they mean anything, weren't deeply followed by the DOJ under successive administrations. That's the background. Here's what's happening today that's new. The House compelling a powerful billionaire who's usually behind the scenes, Les Wexner, to go under oath to provide answers about his long business history with Epstein. He was interviewed where he lives in Ohio. Democratic lawmakers led this questioning today. Some Republican staff members, we're told, also attended. Now, Wexner's a key figure because we already knew Epstein made so much money off of him.
Yep, all these billionaires touching tips and meeting at parties and raping children. And you know Donald Trump is one of them. But Les Wexner, he's the only one they've actually talked to because he's about to die. Of old age, probably.
This is one example of a photograph from the Oversight Committee with an individual redacted, again, under the reasons we've been told, but the two men having a drink, hanging out, whatever you see there.
After he was already
convicted. Epstein made money off this man. And we know big sums were also returned. Now, lawmakers say their evidence shows over $1 billion cumulatively went from Wexner to Epstein, and that he's in the files over 1,000 times. You're looking at
Wexner's in the files over 1,000 times. He gave $1 billion in various gifts and favors to Epstein. And Trump is in the files over 1 million times. And if Les Wexner is being investigated, excuse me, where the fuck is the investigation on Trump and the many, many, many other people in these files? No, but they're like, oh, the investigation's over. Everything's done, guys. Old news now. And then these new files come out. There's going to be new files and revealed files and whistleblowers and this, that, and the other for years. We're going to learn new information for a long time to come because they're trying to keep as much information from us as possible.
One file, one photograph. There are many, many other references and contacts with him. Now, that $1 billion is part of the fortune that ultimately propped up Epstein's crime spree. And it's been documented that Wexner, back in the day, cut ties with Epstein around his first legal problems in Florida. If you think about some of the people who've gotten in trouble recently, you remember a lot of them are being basically held to account because after Epstein's conviction for a sex crime involving a minor, what they call soliciting
I don't know what he's going to say, but no people have been held to account. There is no justice here. I don't know what he's going to say next, to be honest.
Soliciting prostitution for someone under 18. And people years later were in contact with him, and they got in trouble for that.
Oh, he's talking about how Epstein was convicted, not of, like, all of the crimes that he committed. He actually was only convicted of trafficking, not of child rape, not of child murder, of trafficking. It's like getting Al Capone on taxes. Like, he moved people across borders in order to rape them. The children, that is. So that's what they got him on? it's, it's so ridiculous. Like, okay, he was caught, and then he suicided in jail. Sure. And Trump was very likely responsible for that, by the way. And no investigation into him because he controls the investigation. He controls all of it. Like, I don't know why local forces, like why doesn't the DC police or maybe the New York police issue a warrant for Trump's arrest? They can. They're allowed to. It's legal.
This one is a little different. Wexner can show and point to evidence, financially and otherwise, there's documents that they cut ties around that time. In fact, Wexner also says Epstein stole from him, and they got some of that money back, as I mentioned. Now, today, the new Wexner testimony includes a public statement where he describes how, despite his own business skills and, purported acumen and intelligence, he says he was duped by a world-class.
Oh, he was duped. Right. Les Wexner, the multi-billionaire, was duped. He was duped. Oh, no. He was duped by Epstein to give him around $1 billion in gifts and money and to set up his entire organization and to fund him. It was a mistake. Oopsie. Oopsie poopsie. He was duped by him. Right. I never witnessed nor had any knowledge of Epstein's criminal activity. To my enormous embarrassment and regret, oopsie, I, like many others, was duped by a world-class conman. I cannot undo that part of my personal history, even as I regret ever having met him. Sure, buddy, sure. As a billionaire, he was duped. Right, just like every one of the other people who were duped into raping and killing. They were duped. Oh no. Yeah, too bad. Maybe you should be in jail because you were duped. I don't care. You funded the worst sex trafficking ring in human history, where they traffic children to billionaires and politicians, and you're like, oh no, whoopsie, I didn't know about that. Yeah, right.
Con man, and that he regrets ever having met him. Wexner also suggested today that Epstein was a skilled manipulator living a type of, quote, double life, and that he would compartmentalize different sets of people and crimes. Now, if you do an investigation, you follow these kind of pieces of testimony or allegation.
No.
And there's some support for that because
No, that's not how that works. Oh, Epstein was so smart. He was such a genius that he sidelined all of his criminal behavior over here. And when he was dealing with me, Les Wexner, he actually was totally legit and I had no idea. That's not how these people work. That's not. You think these con men, as you call them, differentiate? It's like, no, Trump doesn't differentiate between normal life and the crimes he commits. Epstein was very out in public about this. Everyone knew that he was committing sex crimes. So many people knew, and they did nothing. And for you to claim that he conned you like he conned everyone else is bullshit. And it's just, oh, I didn't know, oopsie. Right. No, you paid for him to set this up. You paid for it. Oh, you didn't know where your money was going? $1 billion of it. Really? Really? No.
the emails do show Epstein kind of operating in a different way, even with very different language and different sort of references depending on who he's dealing with.
Epstein was no hate for our disabled folks here. He was a dyslexic retard. I have all the respect for mentally disabled people, but Epstein was a dumb piece of shit. He was not any smarter than look through his emails. Read how he talks. He's a moron. He can't spell. He can't write. He can't talk well. He misunderstands things all the time. He talks like he's just like in college. Or less than that. I have better writing abilities than he does. And to claim that he was a genius, he was so capable of playing 4D chess and manipulating all these people. No, he was very public and obvious about everything. They played this game where, oh, he could just talk to people and they would pretend as if, but they were right, they were out and about. Just read the emails. How he talks is very apparent.
The key question that I'm going to get to here is whether Wexner knew that or not. Wexner suggests that he was only and essentially one of Epstein's financial victims, and others were Epstein's sex trafficking victims. And that
this is framing it as if the people who paid Epstein were somehow conned out of their money, and that the sex criminals were somehow conned as well. It's like, oh, he conned everyone. He was the only criminal here in this entire investigation. Like Kash Patel had said, oh, there's no evidence that Epstein actually trafficked anyone or that anyone else was involved in the crimes. And then Pam Bondi's like, oh, we're done here. There's no more evidence. That's it. There's no criminals. It's only Epstein, guys. That's it. Do they think we're dumb? Yes, they think we're dumb. They think we're dumb. or they don't care because they know we are not capable of doing anything about it. But the justice system at this point needs to do something. If they don't want people taking justice into their own hands.
Basically, Epstein had a lot of people fooled. Now, we should note Wexner has not faced any legal allegations from the DOJ.
Though it should.
And that is his view. And that's part of why investigators gather testimony. But was it the full truth? And was
Which they haven't. They haven't even interviewed the victims. This shows you how unserious this investigation actually is. They don't investigate. They do not. They don't talk to the victims of the crimes. If you saw that picture of Pam Bondi during her hearing, where all of the victims who were in the courtroom in that hearing stood up, and when they were asked if they had not been questioned by the DOJ, and all of them stood up, Pam Bondi didn't even look at them. She didn't even look around. She was like, but did you know that the Dow is at 50,000? She didn't even glimpse their faces. She didn't turn around, she didn't look them in the eye, and she didn't acknowledge that they were raped by the people that she is protecting. Trump raped children, and those people know it. And they can testify, they can talk about it, and they do, but not in court. They can't actually talk to the DOJ because the DOJ is not running a legitimate investigation. They only put out some of these files to pretend that they were following the law and to get even MAGA off their back. But even MAGA has to acknowledge now that it is a very, very bad look for this administration. The walls are closing in, essentially, and there's nothing that MAGA or Trump or Pam Bondi or Kash Patel can do. Everyone knows that Trump is a pedophile, rapist, murderer. Everyone knows it. No one can deny it without just like shutting off their brain, closing their ears and eyes and nose and going, la, 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 la. It's impossible. But as the old adage goes, Trump can rape their kids on Fifth Avenue and not lose any of his voters. That's just MAGA for you.
it credible? That's also what we're reporting on today. Some of the Democratic lawmakers basically, we'll let you see what they said, but I would kind of summarize it as that they basically doubt Wexner's claimed confusion or ignorance about the totality of the years of other Epstein activities.
That's obvious. That is just obvious. Les Wexner is guilty. Everyone knows it. You can see it. There was a clip of him talking to his lawyer, where his lawyer there's a whole video of it where he's talking, giving all these answers, and his lawyer basically goes, "Hey, if you answer in more than 5 words, I'm gonna fucking kill you." And it's all audible on the mic, and he goes because he knows that either his lawyer has connections and legitimately can do something about it, or that he's implicating himself. So let's hear what these lawmakers have to say about Wexner, but it is very apparent that he's guilty of at least funding, to a large extent, Epstein's crimes.
Mr. Wexner appears to be unaware of much of the money, as he claims, that was given over to Mr. Epstein, trying to downplay how close Jeffrey Epstein and Mr. Wexner actually were.
The more this deposition goes on, the less Wexner knows.
We are running into dead ends. You most likely will be left with more questions than answers.
He has basically alleged that he saw no evil, heard no evil.
Hey.
So you can see the lawmakers there reacting to that. Question isn't whether that's unsatisfying or doesn't fit a story or a narrative. The question, of course, is whether it's true. Now,
They all lie. They're all going to lie. Just follow the money. Just follow them. Oh, he didn't know. I don't care if he knew or didn't know. It's his responsibility to know. It's his money. You think he's just going to spend $1 billion and not know where any of that went? It's like some of that money went to buying Epstein Island, where the pedophile parties were, and he just didn't know. Whoopsie, the billionaire who was funding Epstein didn't know what Epstein was doing. Complete bullshit.
of course, probe certain issues. When you take the island, the infamous Epstein Island, Wexner says he went once with his wife and children. Trump Commerce
He went with his kids, yo. He went with his kids. He was like, oh, Epstein, here's $1 billion. He buys an island, and then Wexner just visits the pedophile island with his children. He's like, look, all good to go here. Everything looks in tip-top shape. And then hopefully he left with his kids and didn't leave them there. But, like, he knew what was going on. He knew what that island was for. It was for the billionaire pedophile parties. He went there. He saw the island. You think Epstein didn't talk to him constantly about this stuff? He was in league with Trump. He was in league with all these other powerful people, Bill Gates. Like, they were constantly talking about this. This was all they were doing. Once you get that rich and powerful, there's nothing left to do but rape and murder and just like eat children. Like, of course they're going to do that. Yes, once you get that powerful, your brain is already broken. That much power. I'm not saying that these people aren't guilty. They hella are guilty and they deserve to be behind bars or underneath a blade or a rope. But like, of course they're going to do that. Or at least, of course, the demographic most guilty of these crimes are going to be rich, powerful people. So at the end of the day, I think every single person in the Epstein files should be investigated. Like, every single person. If you're implicated, even whatsoever, slightly, there should be heavy investigations into your activity. And obviously, this DOJ and Trump are doing the opposite of that because they know that they're directly implicated and are guilty. But at least in this case, with Les Wexner, I always miss up his name because it's like Lex Wexner. Anyway, there's some questions. Obviously, he's just going to pretend to be this old man who doesn't know what's going on. Oh, you didn't know. Yeah, but these kind of people can kind of get away with that. He doesn't know. He does know. He's pleading the fifth. Right. Yeah. That's how these people get away with these kinds of things. But Democrats and the rest of the country, Republicans also want to know if Les Wexner and these other people who are denying these things are just claiming ignorance. Like, oh, are they credible? Is he lying? Is there a way to prove it? Can you investigate further? Or are you just going to drop the ball as they have over and over and over again on purpose? So Wexner previously granted Epstein these sweeping financial authorities, just like, hey, use all my money how you want, including power of attorney. Do you know how this is? So being a power of attorney is a huge deal. Like, your dad is your power of attorney, maybe your grandma, a trusted person, a literal attorney. This is a move that has drawn renewed scrutiny in light of Epstein's criminal conduct. But Epstein had Wexner's power of attorney, even though Epstein was not a lawyer. And what? He was just going to control Wexner's money? He just had the complete go-ahead? He trusted him that much? He knew what he was doing. He wouldn't allow him access to that money if he didn't. So Democrats are questioning how Epstein was able to operate for years within these elite social and financial circles without raising any red flags. Because anyone who did raise those red flags was probably, or at least pushed away or shut down or something like that. There were plenty of people who came out in public and called out how they were raping kids. And some of them got, and Wexner, as the head of of the financial part of Epstein's activities, maintained that he was unaware of Epstein's criminal activity and that he severed ties once these concerns surfaced. As if no red flags showed up, there was nothing to indicate, and that no one had any idea. I find that extremely hard to believe. Something is not adding up here, and the Democrats sense that they're getting very close to finding out the truth. I think we've already found the truth, but let us know what you think about these stunning developments, and what do you think is going to happen next? I think nothing is going to happen next, to be honest. At this point, we've already proven time and time again that these people are horrible, corrupt, evil demons, and that there is no justice for the upper class. But let me know what you think, and whether or not they're actually going to go after Les Wexner or any of the other people in the files. And while you're letting us know down in the comments, remember to like and subscribe to the channel for more exciting political content just like this, where we talk about how our country is slowly declining into fascism and a government controlled by billionaire pedophiles. Woohoo! My name is Elias Siegelman. I hope to see you next time with another exciting, dramatic video. But until then, I hope you have a peaceful night.